Alright. Hello, my name is Osborne, and this is my submission to AGDQ 2023 for Stonefly Any Percent. Stonefly is a really nice indie game made by Flight School Studios, following a girl named Annika, who is on a mission to rescue her dad's mech that got stolen. We're gonna get more into that with some other details in the story. But to start off, I am playing this on controller on PC, and this is available on Switch if you want to get this too. But I think it's a really good candidate for AGDQ 2023 because it has a lot of resource management, and it has a lot of on the fly reaction stuff, and has really good combat as well with enemies. And so this is going to be submitted both as a race and as a solo submission with Roadkill Revenge. If you want to accept both of us or just one of us, it's perfectly fine. But we think it would be pretty good to show this off at AGDQ one way or another. So time will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. So first and foremost, we're going to just skip some nice cutscenes here. And right off the bat, Annika wants to help her dad fixing this rig that he has right here. So we're just going to be doing some nice, relaxing, helping him, grabbing some tools. But the first minute or so is a little slow. It's nice and relaxing. It's nice and cozy. This is a nice cozy game as well. And so we're just going to go straight through here and skip some more cutscenes. And it isn't until we wake back up in the morning when the action really begins, in which we get to finally use the mech. And what the mech is we're going to take this mech that our father has, and it's called Krissa. And right here, the mech, this is going to be like our main mode of transportation. We're going to be using various different types of mechs throughout the run. And so we are just going to use our dash ability, or the blink ability. A blink ability is just you have a little blink forward. And right here, we're getting introduced to the concept of mining minerals. We have a lot of minerals throughout the game. I have a set of notes here that I like to look at in order to know how much minerals I should have at each specific point in the game. And so we're gonna have, that's what I mean by a lot of resource management. And so we're gonna have a lot of minerals we need to collect throughout the run here. And we're gonna collect around 3,400 Limadot. And that's this green mineral that you're going to see right here. That's what we're going to be trying to get here. But as we're collecting here, we're going to be going into our first encounter. And encounters are just battle sequences of enemies. And for each encounter, you only have to get rid of we're going to damage enemies right here, and then we're just going to push them off the edge. And for each specific enemy, or for each specific encounter, you only have to grab the you're going to attack the hostile enemies. But the definition of hostile kind of changes a lot throughout the run, because of, different enemies getting introduced and all that jazz. But you can press, if you don't know where the hostile enemies are, you can press down on the D-pad and the game will tell you where they are. Oh, right here, pretty good RNG. That's a pretty good example of pretty decent RNG in which all the enemies were kind of grouped up together. They spawn from pretty similar locations. And as that finishes up, we're going to collect the rest of the llama out here and move on with our day. And again, we want around 3,400 Limadot here, and then we're going to go over here and grab and go into another encounter. We want to break down these rocks in the bottom right corner because usually the enemies like to spawn from that section. As you can see, 2 of them spawn here, and then the other 2 spawn over here. We knock them out on that edge, and then continue with the mining here. 1,596. That's a bit low, but I think as long as we have a little over 1,700 in this next section, then we should be fine. I don't really like to spend too much time on this particular one because of the enemy that likes to spawn there. And then we're going to go over here, and as long as we have preferably over 2,000 Limadot after getting through this deposit right here, we'll be good. And a little under. Again, it's not too big of a deal. You can be the majority of the notes that I have here for specific minerals. You have to have at specific checkpoints. They're not incredibly set in stone, but they are. You do want to have around that ballpark, and try and back it up with some more extra stuff later, if possible. And right here we got pretty bad RNG in which all of the enemies spawn at 3 different parts of the leaves. I have had it so where all 6 of those enemies will spawn on the same side of the leaf, and that's probably the best RNG you can get. But then we got rid of the giant popcorn bug, as that was called. The little guys that bite you are the popcorn bugs. And then we fought like a big popcorn bug. And then we're gonna grab this last deposit right here, and then we are pretty much done with this first section. Perfect. So that's Krissa. Now we're gonna go to leaving home, and we're going to go again, skipping through some cutscenes. And now we're gonna go through a mode of transportation that's really fun to use, but you're only gonna see it once throughout the game, and that is Grasshopper. This Grasshopper, his name is Kevin. Not really, that's just the headcanon that I put for myself. But in my heart, his name is Kevin. So right here, Kevin and I are just gonna, you know, go through here and hop our way through. This actually is kind of hard to control, not gonna lie. Like even if you're going down a straight line, depending on like like you see like that, like depending on level geometry and stuff, how levels built, it kind of up. You see stuff like that, yeah. So stuff like that can happen, in which it's a bit hard to control him sometimes, but for the majority of the time, you have especially with some practice, you have a pretty easy time controlling him. So, and I hope you enjoy Kevin, because Kevin is no longer going to be with us. He's not dead. He just doesn't appear for like the rest of the game. Like that's the only time we have to use him. And so, good spawn on the enemy right here. This is the boom bug, in which an enemy that will like shoot like large purple explosives at you. Okay, this is a pretty good spawn right here. Oh, okay, but that rarely ever happens. I don't usually get that much trouble here with the enemies, but oh my god, the enemy spawns here are pretty good because you're able to knock all the enemies out at once. That was pretty good enemy spawns right there, and so we were able to fight those big boom bugs. We're gonna buy a keyhole clamp here from Clara. We're gonna buy those boom bugs, and then you can actually use your blow ability in order to open their wings, and not only when their wings are exposed, or only when the wings are open can you actually deal damage to them. So this is our main crew right here. This is Ravenwood, this is David, this is Clara, and so Ravenwood, David, and Clara are gonna be our main posse throughout the entire run. And right here, they're offering us a wonderful broken down mech that we know how to repair ourselves, and that's going to be our pretty much a main mode of transportation for the rest of the game. This is like the mech that we're going to be using for the rest of the game. And after having bought that keyhole clamp, we're going to buy a jump design and a brake design. The minerals that we got for those upgrades were from the previous fight that we just did after abandoning Kevin. And it doesn't matter, I didn't collect any of the minerals in that section because you always end that fight with like a fixed set, and so it doesn't really matter. So, Nightlight Briar. We're gonna go here, back into our mech, and now we're actually gonna go out into the world. And so, in the specific section, Nightlight Briar, we're gonna get introduced to some more minerals, some new minerals called Lauronite and Dalium. Lauronite is like this tealish bluish color that you're going to be seeing here. And Dalium is a solid black mineral. Dalium is pretty slow when it comes to mining, and they don't come in huge amounts, but thankfully you also don't need that many for a specific upgrade, and so it kind of evens out. And so right here we're going to grab these minerals here. At the end of the section we want around 2,000 Lauronite and 150 Dalium, because you know the Dalium again just naturally kind of gets mined a bit slower, and so as you can see up there, we want to make sure that we're keeping in mind to our health meter and repairing our machine whenever possible. You can just press up on the D-pad and it'll repair. Okay, perfect. So that's actually a pretty good Nightlight Briar so far. So we have around all of the minerals that we need. I'm not going to expose these minerals yet because I'm going to come back to it later. But first we're going to go to our next pretty much forced encounter with these enemies right here. Thankfully they all spawned in relatively close locations. So these are the long snout bugs. They will shoot projectiles at you, and that is pretty much what they do, those are these new enemies that we're seeing out throughout the run as well. Up, 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 come on. There you go. Perfect. Okay. And these green crystals that you're seeing come out of these enemies are crystals that have specific items that you can sell in them, but also sometimes have craftable items. For example, some of them have neutron epoxy, which you need like a lot of laurinite to get, and neutron epoxies are something that we're gonna have to need later for crafting specific upgrades for our mech. And as you can see here, this is a cutscene that we are meeting now with the shoemaker's assistant named Henry. The shoemaker is not here. He is at Genson Trail, and that's an area that we're going to go to next. But meanwhile, this cutscene is playing out. I'm going to try and explore the area, see if I can get any more laurinite or any more gallium. But it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, we have better things to worry about right now. Just try and see if we can get some more stuff on the way. I'm going to grab some gallium through here. And now we're going to go to another encounter. This encounter is technically skippable, but we actually choose to do it in the speedrun, primarily because it has laurinite deposits that we're going to need for later, but also because it's like a really short encounter, and so it doesn't really waste that much time. But primarily it's because like there's laurinite here that essentially is that we need. They've kind of embedded into the route. Perfect. And at the end of this section, we want around 8,000 laurinite and around 500 gallium. And so, as you can see here, I'm going to go a little bit out of my way in a lot of cases in order... Oh, that's a lot of things. Okay. I don't want to waste too much time trying to grab those. Those were a lot of green crystals that had specific things that I could be using to sell, or I could be using to craft specific upgrades. And so, when you get those things, it's like really, really good RNG. And so... right here, we're going to actually go into another encounter, but we're going to skip this encounter because there's a checkpoint right here, and if you grab the checkpoint and then restart the file, congrats, you're no longer in the encounter. You just skipped them completely. There is a specific way that you can do it by physically going around the hitbox of the encounter. I know that the racer, Roadkill Revenge, she likes to do it. I do not. I think it's a bit inconsistent for me, and her way is probably just ever so slightly faster. But it's just not very consistent for me. I haven't really mastered the movement down in that faster version. But right here is probably the most annoying enemies in the game. The Speedy Boys. We've forgotten the name of these guys, but they're the Speedy Boys, as I like to call them. They will just immediately try to attack you by charging at you like that. And if you're lucky, sometimes they will charge off the edge. But overall, they do a lot of damage and a lot of like really annoying attacks, though. But this isn't the worst RNG that I've gotten on this fight, but it's not the best either. Come on, attack me, thank you. Please. Okay, yeah, maybe this isn't. I say that, and then suddenly this enemy does not feel like behaving. But we're just gonna. Right, there we go. We're going to grab these last pieces of laurinite, and you want to grab those last pieces of laurinite before moving on, because there's little tiny bugs there, and the little tiny bugs will actually end up eating a lot of the minerals that you just leave there exposed, and so you don't want that to happen. And thankfully we have enough laurinite. We have almost exactly 8,000, which is the amount that we need after this particular section. But we're going to come back to that section that we were at later after activating. Oh, whoa! That's never happened before. Okay. That's amazing. I didn't know that was a thing. And so we're going to free time save, I suppose. And so we're going to go as this cutscene is playing out. You have free movement during the cutscene. We're going to go straight into this next section, or go back to this section, I should say. And we're going to collect all of this gallium. We have around 250 gallium. We want around 500. I think we're going to be a little bit short. That is like perfectly fine. Yeah, we're gonna be short by like 80, but it's perfectly fine because gallium and laurinite are probably the two most the two minerals that you can back up the easiest, and so it's nothing. It's not the end of the world by any means. And so here are the alphas. Right here, we're going to go and buy a pressure mold. We're going to buy 1 hardened crystal and 3 neutron epoxies, and we're going to sell all of these extra items that we got from the green crystals. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to buy dash and mining speed level 1. So we can mine things and we can dash. And now we're going to go back to Nightlight Village, which is a fast travel point that we collected earlier later. And so we're going to be able to go here now. And whenever you get a new ability, the game likes to be like, oh yeah, you got a new ability, here's how it works, but it's like an annoying prompt and we wish it didn't exist. And so right here is a little stump with some extra backups on the Lauronite and the neutron epoxies here, or the Lauronite and Dalium here. I am going to actually collect a good amount here because the amount that I have is like not where I want it to be, and so I'm now gonna move on because these enemies are attacking me willy-nilly, and I would rather not deal with that, you know. But the Lauronite count is a bit lower than I would like it to be, or the mineral count is a bit lower than where I like it to be, which is why I took the time to back up that particular section. Or to get backup minerals in that particular section. Right here, we're just going to climb up this stump, and we're going to try and go up to the snow area. Essentially, we talked to the shoemaker, and he says that he made boots for a man who had the same souls as the person that we think stole our guy's mech. And so the boots are for like snowy areas. When we try to find the snow area, we realize that our mech can't handle it, and so we're now going to find upgrades in order to make sure the mech withholds the cold, withstands the cold. And now right here, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be collecting alpha tracks. And essentially what alpha tracks are is that the alphas are like giant bugs like you're going to see right here, and on the backs of them they have minerals that all the other bugs want. And so we're going to try and grab as many minerals as we can here. There's going to be a lot of enemies trying to attack us, but the tracks that we got, every time that I reload the map, if you already know where the tracks, you're supposed to go through this like mini game to find out where the tracks are, but if you already know where they are, you can just collect them yourself. And so right here, we're going to, and so now we've collected 2 tracks and we're on the alpha now. The alpha has, again, a lot of enemies, as you can see right here. Right here on this section, I want at least 13,000 Lauronite. I want around 600 Dalium, and I want around 2,000 Dynatite. Each alpha is going to have like a mineral that you have never collected before. At that point, after this section, we're going to see more Dynatite, but like we haven't seen Dynatite up until this point. We want around 2,000 out of this section. So we're actually having a pretty good encounter so far. The enemies aren't being too bad to us. Okay, but sometimes the wind can be pretty bad. But thankfully, it's not anything that we can't handle. But as you can see, there's a lot of enemies here. There's these like slimy guys that kind of like slow you down with their green slime. The farther you get onto the mech or onto the alpha, the more minerals there will be at the farther ends. As you can see here, we have more than enough Lauronite, and we have a lot of Dalium. We have more than enough Dynatite, I should say. We have a lot of Dalium here as well. We have 600 Dalium, which is what we want. We have now 13,000 Lauronite, and we're going to grab this rare mineral over here called Pyatite. It is a mineral that we're going to need in bulk later in the game, but each alpha have like a little bit of Pyatite at the head, and so we're going to try and collect those as well. And so right here we're going to get the Snow Shell ability, which is the ability that allows us to withstand the cold, and we're going to grab the Pool ability, which is a required thing, but I never use it, and then the Air ability, which is probably one of the most important abilities in this game, the Air ability. And now we're going to go to sleep. Perfect. And now we're at Mountain. Mountain is usually like a really good place for donations because it is just movement. There is not a lot of stuff to say. But one thing that I can say is we have a new mech, a new design on our mech that allows us to withstand the cold. And we also have The arrow ability, as you can see here, when you hold down the right bumper in order to get a bit more speed throughout the air, but also by spamming the B button, you can see as you go throughout the air, you can get a small little boost of speed, like so. And so right here again, we meet this man who is trying to find himself, and Annika is very confused about that because for whatever reason, Annika has never heard of the concept of trying to find yourself, and so it confuses her immensely. He leads us with like directions on how to get to where we need to go, but of course we're speedrunners, we already know where to go. And so this is a pretty relaxing part of the game. I enjoy it a lot, especially since it has like nice music. Again, the music in this game is probably one of the major selling points. Oh, look at that. It fell down. Sometimes that happens. And you try to take advantage of small little branching paths like that in order to get more boost of speed in the air. For example, like this. And then you can use the air ability right here. Perfect, perfect. So that was a pretty good mountain, aside from that one fall down. But it's nothing that we can't handle. We're gonna climb across here, and then we're gonna take this man that we met back to his destination. And yep, all right, cool. That was pretty good. No, dang, hold up. Okay, I messed up my splits there. We're at the wrong section. Okay, perfect. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the thief. And the thief is a pretty nice section. We're gonna try and check if there's minerals up on that top leaf. And there is not. Oh wait, no there is. Alright, well. Yes, game, thank you for elaborating that I do have more minerals now. Okay, we're gonna grab these minerals right here, and then we're gonna climb down here and grab some more minerals. This is a section that, like, if you cannot grab the minerals, as the notes say, it is not like the end of the world. We have a lot of dynamite, but obviously you want some extra for safe measure. And so there's also no alpha tracks here. We want to grab alpha tracks as well. Oh, okay, I see. We have two right here. Okay, the game wants to give me a lot of dynamite, even though I have like an abundance of it, and so it's like not the mineral that I need right now. It's giving me a good amount of dalium too, but like dalium is also in another section that we can back up pretty easily, and so I prefer stuff like this, like the lima dot. Okay, perfect. Up. And alright, perfect. We have a pretty healthy amount of all the minerals that we want. I'm gonna grab some more dalium in the next section, which is Bull's Hollow. Right here, we need to go here, and now we're at Bull's Hollow. We're at the end of that section. Bull's Hollow has a lot of encounters that we're actually going to be skipping. It's probably the best example of the ability of the discoveries that we've made in order to skip encounters. Like I've done right here. I did some weird movement in which I actually went like a circle around that section because I just went around the hitbox of a specific encounter. So, and you can't leave encounters like until you actually defeat all the enemies, and so being able to skip them is a godsend really. And right here we're going to do some more really cool movement when it comes to skipping encounters, and we're going to actually fly over the hitbox of this encounter. This area right here underneath us was where the encounter was. I don't really like to use the arrow ability there in order to get more speed because it does decrease your height a little bit, and so you want to play it safe. And now we're going to skip a third encounter by going around these leaves, and then boom, we can just go straight into that swift breeze. And now we are at this checkpoint at the top of Bull's Hollow, and we do have to fight some beetles, and this is a forced encounter. You cannot skip this. The beetles do a lot of damage, but they're actually pretty easy to avoid as long as you're like semi above them or behind them when they attack you. It's pretty easy to not take damage from them. Okay, and then also there's this like boom bug that if they're nice, like also deal damage to these bugs. Okay, and okay, that was a pretty good fight. honestly pretty decent. And we're gonna actually take our time to grab some extra helium here. I'm gonna grab up to 850 because that's what the notes tell me, or that's what you've written down in the notes, and so I want to be able to grab as much as I can here. Perfect. And you just wait for the breeze to pass by. For whatever reason, again, the definition of a hostile enemy changes frequently throughout this run, and one good example of that is when we were at, and in that last battle, in which the boom bug was not considered a hostile enemy. So we're gonna go over to the trading outpost here, and we're gonna actually buy some pretty cool stuff. We're going to sell all of this first. We're gonna get 4 rain wire, 4 pebble rivets. We're gonna grab a solar coil, and then we're gonna go back to camp. We're gonna work on our mech. We're gonna grab the bubble ability. We're gonna have the mining speed level 2 ability, and we're gonna have the hull durability level 1. And then we're going to go back over to the trading. We're going to go back over to here and see if we can get some more alpha tracks, because one thing that we need is one more alpha track in order to find the alpha for this specific section. And I'm going to be reloading each and every single, reloading my file, because there's just one specific spot that should have an alpha track. Right there, perfect. I'm seeing it over here, perfect. Okay, yeah, I get it. Oh my god, I have hull durability, I understand. Let me go back. Okay, this was a pretty inconvenient time to tell me all these messages in the game. Thank you. Sometimes when you reload the game too fast, it'll give you a bunch of messages at once. But right here, we're going to fight the Maple Alpha, or the Canopy Alpha, I should say. Right here, we need to collect around 2,400 dynatites. We're pretty set already on that front. We want to collect around 8,000, a bit over 8,000 laurinite. So I'm going to focus more on the laurinite than I will on the dynatite. But we also want to collect around 1,200 of a specific mineral called faunable. This is the blue mineral right here, and it's very important that we get the faunable. The faunable is probably the most important mineral of this specific section, because we need it for a specific mission later in the game, and this is like the only specific section in which you are able to grab faunable. And so right here, we got mining speed level 2 in the upgrades. Okay, the wind kind of likes to screw you over like that. We got specific upgrades in the mining section, mining speed level 2. We got hull durability level 1, so we can withstand these enemies a bit easier. And most importantly, we also got the bubble ability, and the bubble ability allows us to do that. Which, oh my god, that's a glitch that rarely ever happens, and I'm surprised that I got it. But the bubble durability allows you to essentially create a bubble ability allows you to create like a force field around yourself in order to collect all these minerals. And we are pretty set already on all these minerals. Okay, we can actually, I'm going to grab some more limedot here. Actually, you know, I'm going to grab these, this dynatite, because okay, and then we're gonna grab all of this here, this laurinite. Okay, I'm not too concerned if I take too much damage here, since it's already at the very end. But we actually do want this limedot, this specific encounter to run out. You can technically die before it finishes. Oh, so we actually are pretty good on this front, because we want that that dialogue from Clara to pop up. What just happened is actually a very inconsistent skip that happens, and it saves 50 seconds. Essentially, Clara is on a 2-minute cooldown every time that you speak to her. Every time that you speak to her, and she'll have like a little text bubble that pops up. But these text bubbles have a very low percentage chance of actually popping up. And thankfully, when you sold her all of those items, you saw that I sold her around 4,000 limedot and around 2,000 dynatite. And so when that happens, a cutscene is supposed to happen that kind of locks you into that area. And when you get locked into that area, you can't move on to the next section until that cutscene is over. However, if Clara has like a little speech bubble before that the cutscene will then get delayed, and it will not start until that is over. And so we are able to skip that cutscene, and it'll play out throughout this it'll play out throughout the level instead, like it did in the bottom left corner. That was a pretty lengthy explanation, but it's pretty much the only thing that mattered in that specific section. We did skip like 3 encounters by going all the way up throughout the entire level, as you saw there, by just flying over it. If that's a part that I need to maybe work on explaining a bit better in a bit faster succession. But yeah. This is a specific cutscene after this specific section that we cannot skip, unfortunately. So we are just waiting for this to happen, and we are going to go here into stalled, which is, we're around halfway through the game, and so we're going to wait for this cutscene to play out, and then we're going to buy another ability called Blink, and it's the same ability that we had at the beginning of the game with the Krissa mech, in which we can immediately just kind of teleport forward, and combine that with the dash ability, we essentially have like a double dash. There we go. And now we're at stalled. Okay, perfect. And here is the midway boss of the game, the Wind Mantis. The Wind Mantis is actually a pretty decent boss. Pretty good boss. He's actually, but he's a little hard to deal with sometimes. He does a lot of damage. You essentially just want to stay out of his range and stay off the floor for the majority of the part. But whenever he like hits the ground, he's gonna be putting rocks all over the floor, and these rocks are what you're going to use in order to deal damage to him. Sometimes the rocks that he puts will just fall onto him, which is probably like the ideal kind of RNG. And so, especially when there's a lot of rocks in front of him, it's going to when there's a lot of rocks in his path, it will all damage him at once, which is really cool. And looks like we're having a pretty decent fight so far with him. Oh, come on. Perfect. And now that all that's gone, we can just kill him off the edge. And then that is the end of the Wind Mantis fight. That was pretty good. That might be a gold. Question mark? Oh, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This sleeping section takes too long. It takes longer than this. You had to go through the whole sleeping animation and all that jazz, so not a gold, but close to a gold. Yeah, 5 seconds off gold, which is still pretty good. In this game, it's amazing. And so right now, we're going to buy 4 alloy droplets, or we already had some alloy droplets, apparently, and we're going to get some alloy droplets and a synthesizer, a photosynthesizer. We already had one in our inventory, which is amazing. And we wanted to do that before this cutscene starts, just so we can, because this cutscene has a fixed interval of when it starts, and so there's a small little period of time in which you can buy stuff during this cutscene. And so after that, we're going to go to this little like B plot with Dave in here. But we're going to buy the slow ability and the lift ability. The lift ability is not something that I use very frequently, but the slow ability is not something that I use frequently, but the lift ability is. The lift ability is actually one of the most important abilities in this game. I'm going to just... Okay, we have so much... we have a lot of Limadot, a pretty good amount of Limadot here. And so, right... Oh, there we go. So this is what the lift ability does. You hold down L and then boom. You can... It'll have a slight breeze upwards, and so you can get a bit more height and elevation. And that's especially important with this level, because that's essentially what all the skips are centered around. This lift ability giving us enough height in order to stay towards the left of this level, in which we are going to have a little bit more, as you can see, almost out of bounds section. You can see that there's unfinished level geometry all through there. Kind of out of bounds. Okay, yeah. And so the game likes to tell us that we have abilities and all that jazz. Thank you. Okay, and then once that happens, Once you see those branches, you can kind of just use the air ability. You want to keep a higher altitude for the majority of this level, primarily because if you're too low, you won't be able to go over those branches, and you'll have to accidentally trigger an encounter like inevitably. And so thankfully we didn't have to that didn't become a problem. Trigger this cutscene at the very end, and now we are going to go to Attila's payment, in which we need which we need 4,000 Lambadot and 500 Faunicle, and that's perfectly fine. That's it. That's Attila's payment. So we needed to we're gonna get a part from Attila, and that's like the whole B plot, right? Daven had a friend named Attila, in which we got a part from them, and then we paid Attila back. And so we needed 4,000 Lambadot for that and 500 Faunicle, and thankfully we had enough. And again, Faunicle is the most important part, because the only way for you to get more Faunicle is by doing an alpha again, and that is like run dead right there, because alphas take forever. You gotta find the tracks, and then you gotta do the whole thing, and then it just takes forever. Technically, with the estimate that we're giving, you can still do that and have it be fine, but like it's just not optimal in grinding runs. And so now, instead of going kind of out of bounds, we're gonna go fully out of bounds. And so we're gonna grab over here and look at all of these textures. We love checkerboard textures. Let's go. And yeah, we're out of bounds now. And so you just stick to the right over here, and you can go through the right side of this log, in which you can actually go underneath an invisible wall. You guys can go all the way to the floor through this log, and then now we're at the next section. Let's go. And at the very tippy top of this rock, we're going to use the lift ability in order to go to this next section off screen. Thank you. And now we're going to use the lift ability again to go around a specific encounter. There we go. You have to really hug the wall there. It's like that encounter is super easy to activate. I've done it multiple times during runs, and you know, there's no checkpoints. So you have to start the whole level all over again. But thankfully, if you know what you're doing, it should be pretty consistent and it should be pretty good. Now we're gonna climb up Sardo Tree. Falling down this tree is one of the most heartbreaking things in the world. I've done it in runs, and it's just heartbreaking. But thankfully, we're having pretty good time here. And once you get to this checkpoint, falling down doesn't really matter, because you can just restart the file and you're back at that checkpoint. Okay, and we're gonna shoot these leaves and give us a nice breeze. Okay, that's not what I wanted. We had a bit of a malfunction there. It didn't really give us the height that we wanted in order to drive up to here. And what we're going to be doing is going on to the far left branch. Oh, come on. And then we're going to be using the lift ability to fly up here and go around the encounter right there. Perfect. And now we're going to activate this cutscene in order to trade parts with Tulip and Tulip's friend. And now we are going to go over here and grab the Pyatite that is in this section. It's one of the very few sections of the game that isn't like an alpha that has Pyatite. And nope, just for safe measure, I'm also going to grab some Thalium here while this cutscene is playing out. And even though you've already triggered the encounter, it doesn't really like matter. Because you've already started the cutscene, so the cutscene overrides the encounter, and so you'll just be sent back to the beginning, sent back to camp after the cutscene's over. It has a bit of finicky movement there with the menuing, but you know, that's how it happens sometimes. Perfect. East Marsh, let's go. We're in late game now. We're gonna go to East Marsh. It's a new area. We're with Ravenwood now, which is like the main leader of our friend group here. We have the new Spark ability. I know world record holder Roadkiller Rens uses it. I do not. I don't personally see a point in using it. I mean, unless you're in a really sticky situation with specific enemies. We're gonna grab this alpha track here since it's on the way. And you want to have alpha tracks because we need to go to the alpha later, like the final alpha of this game. Each major area has like an alpha, and so we're going to do that. And unfortunately, there's not an alpha track in that other stump over here that we're going to be getting. So that's perfectly fine. Perfect. Amazing. Alright, cool. Now we're at Rocky Pass. This is a fast travel point that we're going to be going back to later. We're going to go see in 2 other sections, see if there's any alpha tracks. There's not one there. Is there one here before we exit? No, there's not. Okay, so we're going to have to come back here later in order to get some alpha tracks. I forgot to split, but it's fine. Alright, now we're going to go onto this tree stump, and we're going to go all the way across here. There's a lot of encounters in this specific area. We're trying to like work on like an all encounters category. We want to know how that would turn out. And of course, 100% also is roughly defined. And so we're trying and, you know, propose some new ideas to the community. And by the community, I mean me and one other person. It'll be fun. But right here, we're going to go across these logs, and then we're going to be going around a lot of encounters, but one specific skip for encounters that's going to be pretty obvious is this one. We're going to go to the right side of this stump, go to the top right here, use the lift ability, and then go around this stump right here and go on to this next tree stump. Perfect. And now we're going to use the air ability all across here. And now we're going to activate this cutscene where we meet up with some other travelers in order to figure out some more lore that I honestly forgot. But I didn't forget the next part of lore, which is we are going to go to Rocky Pass and we're going to talk to a hermit that will tell us where the auction is. However, before that, I want to check over here and see if there's any alpha tracks, which there were, thankfully. But now that we are done with that, we're going to reload in order to this next reload file in order to go back to this section. And now we're going to go to the right hand side, and we're going to travel to the right side of the map in which we'll talk to the hermit. So this hermit is going to give us it's going to spill some information that there is an auction, and at this auction they are selling a really cool mech, like a mech that has been passed down by generations from travelers to travelers, and if you own it, you essentially are like one of the best travelers out there, one of the best hunters out there, treasure hunters out there. And so it's a sign of really good reputation, and it's a sign of power. And so that's what we're going to be going to do. That's what we're going to go do. That's what our posse is interested in. But meanwhile, this cutscene is playing out. I'm going to collect some minerals. You don't really need that many minerals, but one important mineral that I'm going to get, hopefully, if the game will let me, is piatite. Pinatite, or it's piatite. No, it's piatite. I keep saying pinatite. It's piatite. Piatite is a mineral that is the rarest of them all, and we're going to need about 800 of them. But they're really, which like comparatively with the rest of the minerals is like not a lot. But like they're like super rare, and so being able to grab as many as you can during these sections is beneficial, especially because the game usually doesn't really have much. But I'm gonna grab some Lamadot here just in case as well, and see if the game wants to give us some more upgrades, because once we go to the auction, we can just sell all of our items and get as many upgrades as we want. Yeah, it doesn't look like the game is going to give us much piatite here, but that's really fine. And you can technically, during this cutscene die, and the cutscene will end earlier. And oh, there's piatite. Look at that. And theoretically, that is faster, but that's also riskier because you're going to be like, oh well, like I don't have any more. Like you're losing out on the opportunity to find piatite, and of course, like chances are they're probably not even going to be enemies that will kill you fast enough in order to make that happen effectively. But right here, we're going to go to the Marsh Alpha Aphid, and we're going to find some more piatites. And we need around 800, and as you can see, it mines pretty slowly. But that's perfectly fine because it comes in copious amounts. But we have the bubble ability, and hopefully with good RNG, the enemies won't be too drastic towards us. And so, and so that's what we're going to be collecting mostly. And the minerals in this section are like thallium, piatite, and also of course faunicle. But like the only thing that we care about right now is the thallium. And so we want to collect as much as we can. Hopefully we can get up to like 400 in one encounter, and then we're going to take advantage of a oversight, a little bug, as the developers called it when they first discovered it. And we're going to grab around 400, maybe a bit more than 400 if possible. Alright, perfect. Around 450, around 500 maybe. So, like, and I'm not talking very much because, again, the majority of the stuff that we've said about alpha encounters have been said already. As you can see, bigger and badder enemies are surrounding us. Let's see if we can get around 500, hopefully. Yeah, around 500, and then we're actually going to quit and restart our file. The reason we're restarting our file is because it'll start you back at the alpha again. But for whatever reason, every time you restart the file, the game will keep all of the minerals that you had before you restart the file. Like, your mineral count will stay pretty much the exact same. And that is an oversight by the devs. We did address them about it because, like, they already knew about it by the time we entered there, because they have like a developers Discord, and we were talking to them, and the main dev was just like, hey, did you know that like this is a bug that exists? And we were like, yes, I discovered it. And so they're a lovely group of people. I highly recommend buying this game on Steam as well as on Nintendo Switch. It is an absolutely lovely game, and the developer's pretty cool. You should join their Discord at Flight School Studios. And so, okay, and I'm going to go over here. Okay, yeah, the wind likes to screw you over like that sometimes. Use the bubble ability and mine some more things over here. Mine more Pyatite. This is going to be a pretty good encounter. Like, already pretty solid off the bat. Go over here and finish this deposit up. Again, use the bubble ability. Bubble ability is your best friend. It is your best friend. We're pretty good on Pyatite here. And, okay, we want to be very careful. Okay. Let's see if there's any more Pyatite anywhere else. We're wasting a bit of time. Okay, everything that we need is right here. The enemies were not being very cooperative with me. So, there we go. Okay, now let me die or just... There we go. Okay, there we go. We died. And so whenever you like collect everything that you need from an alpha, you can just die, and it'll end the encounter right there. And it is slightly faster than if we had just finished the encounter. And it's also, and we're gonna reset checkpoint or we're gonna restart the file because, going through all of that is just okay. Neutron epoxy rain wire. Okay, we want a neutron epoxy rain wire. Hold on. Okay, we need like. Oh, I was hoping we didn't do zero backtracking throughout this entire section, but push comes to shove, our luck has it that we need to do just the literally tiniest bit of backtracking ever. There. Okay, we're good. We were 5 neutron epoxy, we were 5 Lorinite short of what we needed. And so that is just a little annoying, but it's like not the biggest time loss in the world. And then we're going to give all of our Pyatite to Clara here, because we need Pyatite in order to get some kind of money for the auction. Okay, perfect. And now we're just going to grab hull durability level 1, repair speed. It doesn't matter. After this section, like, it just does not matter. It doesn't matter anymore. We're at the auction, which means that we can just move on. Oh, look at that. We'd love to see it. This could have been a run without any backtracking, but it just had to work differently, huh? We're gonna try and keep the left side. This level has raindrops. This level has raindrops, and they're kind of annoying because they can just stop you in midair, and if you are like flying through a specific section, they're like pretty annoying to deal with. I like to do a little bit of a zigzag pattern. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so the raindrops are pretty much not a threat anymore. They were just in that particular section, and they will be again in a later section, but they're not currently a threat. So right here we're at the auction, and they're like, yeah, we don't want you in the auction. So we grabbed all of that Pietite, we did all that work, and just for them to not let us in, and we end up going to steal what they're selling anyway. So like, what was the point? You know? We try to play things by the rules, and the game is just like, oh yeah, we need to go like buy this stuff at the auction, and then we just end up stealing the stuff anyway. So but plot has to plot, game has to game, you know. So we're just gonna go through the cracks here, and we turn the corner to where the place is going, and then boom, suddenly we need to tether Krissa. Oh, tether Krissa again. Come on, let's go. Wait, hold up. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to check my audio wasn't muted. Okay. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's fine. Let's keep going. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought. Okay, perfect. A little bit of time loss from IRL for overthinking things, but it's perfectly fine. Let's just keep going. And now we have tethered Krissa, but as you can see, she can get untethered, but it doesn't really matter, because as long as you hit the end section trigger, even if Krissa isn't tethered to you, it is like she'll you can end the level, and that's perfectly fine. Now we're gonna go to sleep. Okay. All right, now we're at the final home stretch of the game. All right. Oh wait, I have like skipped the. Okay, perfect. We're at the final section here. Okay, this has been very professional. Lasting section here. Checking mid-run to see if your mic is going, all that jazz, you know. Okay, so we have Krissa, which is our father's mech. Who could have seen that coming? That they were selling it at the auction. Okay, and here is the Dragon Mantis, the final boss of the game, where it's very similar to the Wind Mantis in that you deal damage to it the same way, but it does like bigger damage. It has different move sets, and it has 2 phases, but the second phase has a skip. Oops, oh, come on. Okay, perfect. And the Dragon Mantis also likes to fly a lot more than the Wind Mantis does. Okay. But we want the Dragon Mantis to get around to like 3/4 health down. All right. Thankfully, the Wind Mantis. Oh my goodness, that could not have come at a more inconvenient time. The enemies here do not like to be nice to you. Okay, and then... Oh, okay. Okay, come on. Come on, friend. Let's go, come on. Come on! Oh my goodness, these rocks are uncooperative so much. Oh my god! This is so uncooperative. I'm just gonna go over here and wait for the repair to come back. Alright, cool. Now our leg systems are back up. So that's kind of how damage works in this game, where like parts of your systems will like continuously get more and more damage. My goodness, this first phase is horrendous. Alright, we're close though. Rocks come down, thank you. Please, thank you. Okay. Alright, perfect. Alright, there we go, there we go. That's great, that's great, that's great. And so, right here, we actually do want that. We're going to lead the Dragon Mantis over here. And we actually are going to use the bubble ability to, like, try and bring him... try to make him fly. We do want him to be around this section, though. This is the second phase skip. And so we're going to try and be around this section. And hopefully he does the walking animation on this, like, plane here. If he does the walking animation on the plane here, he can walk down there and touch the kill plane at the bottom of the level. Please. There. Oh, there we go. There he goes. Oh, come on. Come on. Kill plane at the bottom of the level, please. Oh, he's so close. He's so close. He's getting it. He's getting it. He's getting it. Okay, what if I just bring him back up here? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna try and quit here. This is like a pretty long section here. This can go extraordinarily well or horrendously bad. Okay, or... Come on. Please. It's like he's so close. There we go. Perfect. And he walks down to the kill plane. And it's time. 55-35. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent as a submission video. The majority of that is like I don't even know how to describe. Like, it's just the majority of the time loss obviously was in Phantom. Like there was like 2 minutes split. Like 2 minutes just on the first phase. But like sometimes that's how it happens. So 55-35, pretty good. Pretty decent time. I hope that you will accept both of us as a race, and if only one of us has the time to, or has a good amount of stuff, or what I'm trying to say. If only one of us is more appropriate to be on stream than the other, then that's perfectly fine. But hopefully you will accept this game one way or another. I really enjoy running it, and I really enjoy working on this game with Roadkill. And so she is an amazing human being, probably a bit better at this game than I am. Definitely better at this game than I am. What am I talking about? But it was a fun time. I really enjoyed this submission video, and I hope that we can show this off at AGDQ 2023. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you watched the whole thing through, I know you probably didn't because you have so many videos to go through. But if you did, let me know. I'm just kidding. But again, thank you so much for this for considering us, and I hope that fingers crossed we get in. So, that I've been Osmore, and this has been Stonefly Any %, and yeah, that's all I have to say.